I am your chair, your session facilitator this morning. I am Nidhi. I am East African. And I've had the privilege of sitting in spaces very different from this one. On mud floors, in multiple settings, in villages across sub-Saharan Africa, with men and women, with elders and youth, listening to their recounts of what land investments, the corporate occupation of their land, has really meant for them. In the past, tobacco, sisal, cotton. In the present, horticulture, sugar. And in the immediate future, oil seeds for fuel. I have sat with internally displaced persons living for 5 years in makeshift tents, not even tents, just plastic sheets with sticks. A whole generation of children growing up in internally displaced camps, squatters on their own lands, in Kenya, in Zambia, because they have been living out a legacy of eviction from the enclosure of land that overnight has fences put around it. As Mama Mongela so beautifully said this morning, land is the key to dignity. And it is this dignity that I have seen eroded, compromised, and killed in the face of unregulated investments. I say unregulated because the jargon these days is about environmental and social safeguards around investments, and there is a new push for looking at human rights safeguards for investments. It's very late in the day. Investor interests in land, in water, in natural resources is nothing new. It's as old as humanity. In fact, if you talk to archaeologists or art historians, they will tell us that the difference between hunter-gatherer societies and agrarian settlers is an environmental one. Again, as Mama Mongela referred to this morning, we're still dealing with the tensions of pastoralist, hunter-gatherer, and agrarian communities. Art historians will tell you that the only things that the hunter-gatherer left were the tools of hunting, which was primarily male, and gathering, which was primarily female, and cave paintings. As soon as agrarian communities were established, what did humankind try to do? Extract from the environment, control it, and manage it, as opposed to working with it, which is what hunter-gatherers communities do. This is the legacy we are facing, a form of intrusion on land to maximize as opposed to optimizing what we get from natural resources. So as I was saying, the interests are not new, but this latest tsunami wave needs to be acted on even as it threatens to crash over us and perhaps even drown the very people who produce the foods that we eat. This tsunami wave has been gathering momentum since the mid-2000s. At 2014, our response is still vague and mixed and still at risk of losing direction. The dignity and lives of men and women, as Mama Mongela mentioned, are at stake. To help kick off the discussions of this conference, we have 3 presenters whom I'll introduce to you. They each will keep to a very tight 10-minute discussion, and I will then invite your questions, which you will keep to the point and probing. This session's focus is on a policy response. I think we can agree that policies are only successful if they are really owned by the people, since it is the people who will make the politicians comply. With that in mind, let me introduce you to Ward Ansiu, Pascal Liu, and Sue Mbaya. Together, they have a combined total of over 50 years working on a range of land and policy issues. Their bios are in the document. I'm not going to read them out. You can read it for yourselves. Let me first ask Ward to join us, then Pascal, then Sue. I will then invite your questions, and we will close the session at 1 p.m. Thank you.